right, we are live in the pre-show, baby. I'm glad we were live and we weren't showing or letting anybody hear what was going on. Oh, let me unmute you guys so they can hear you all. Okay, now they can hear you all.
Case, I tried, Case.
Yeah, it's too much stuff that we cannot repeat.
You guys gotta live a little.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. But hey, just for anybody coming in the show right now, we're going to go officially at 8 p.m. But we're just allowing people to get into the chat. And I'm about to show some tweets real quick, some pre-show tweets that we could touch on. But you guys have anything you want to say before we get into it? This is the pre-show. It is. So
we are available for sponsorship. So corporate sponsors, if you want to go and pay us off. No, I'm just joking.
Use code.
We cannot be bought.
All right, I'm gonna show.
Talk for yourself.
I'm gonna show this real quick. This is a meme.
Yeah, I can't. You officially cannot say anything about what's her name, Pelosi. If this is how you guys are talking.
I know, right? He's like, we cannot
be bought for too cheap.
This tweet from Steve Cox.
Who is ya?
This is a tweet from Steve Cox. It says, I mean, seriously, politicians who insert themselves into every tragedy to show how they sympathize. So it shows this person hanging. Let me see if I could blow it up a little bit more. You can see. Yeah. So this person hanging, here's politician.
Yo,
boom, boom. And then the politician is just swinging on the dead person. And this is the thoughts and prayers, that politicians always doing. Always doing thoughts and prayers.
The Republicans, let's be real about that one.
Yeah,
that's more Republicans than anybody else.
And Democrats.
I mean, Democrats would actually do something. I'm sorry, go ahead, Izzy.
No, they all do it, but thoughts and prayers specifically, that's Republicans all the way.
Democrats just give thoughts only, thoughts and good vibes.
Thoughts and atheist prayers.
Here's another one. It says, call me a socialist all you want, but if helping this guy means taxing this guy, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
Damn right.
You. Robert Wilson is in the building. What's up, PJ Robert Wilson? What's up, brother?
Yo.
All right. See what else we got.
When is he scheduled to go to space?
I hope so.
Enough.
Hope so. Oh, we could chat about this real quick in the pre-show. You guys saw this? This is from...
They leave us food insecure in transportation deserts and our buildings and schools falling apart. Fuck them! We gotta go big and take it to another level. And this is our moment. This is the moment! They occupy us.
Yeah. I didn't believe it.
Is it me or that like loud?
Was it super loud?
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I was fine. I'm telling you, he took out the Bronx in him.
Yeah,
took it to the street.
He went in.
I mean, I don't really care about all that. I think that we're very good at getting viral videos, but we're not very good at organizing and getting our progressive block and telling the House and Senate leadership that we're gonna block anything that we do. Bernie said it today. Bernie said today, I'm gonna block something if it doesn't include the reconciliation, but they're not gonna do it. I want to be proven wrong.
Well, at least okay. We can't say they're not going to do it not yet, but at least they've been talking. In the interview that they talk about, they did ask him. The interview he did today, it was CaseStudyQB clips out there when they talk about if the bill doesn't have the right amount, is he going to vote for it? He said no. So publicly,
but when has he not? Is the question.
Yeah, Robert Wilson said billionaires need to trade places with us, the common Americans. I mean, I think that in Congress they try to, or at least I saw Cory Booker. I think he did it. I don't know if he did it for a month or a week. That he said that he was just going to live off of the minimum wage. And I was thinking that the whole of Congress to have like a whole month where they get paid the minimum wage each week. And
that would be awesome.
The whole of Congress. Would that do anything though? Is the question. You think that would help? Robert, I'm asking you. You think that would help out? Let me know.
I mean, the thing is, they would get paid like their salary minimum wage, but the corporate donors are still going to make sure they're taken care of.
Yeah, but the fact that they can even see that check, like it'll be what, maybe See, I don't even know. Is it like a 725 for 40 hours? Now, how much is that?
It's like
Not a lot.
$500 maybe.
Nah, it's not 500
Not
bucks.
even.
It's
350.
definitely not 500 bucks. Let me see.
7 times 4 is 28 times with another 10, 280. Diablo.
7 times 25.
Let's bet on
280 per week.
That's 290.
Like
yeah.
Bananas.
Yeah. So if they at least see that on a check, maybe they'll be more sympathetic.
Yeah, they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't care. I mean, you saw it like you saw when it was like all through the pandemic, they were still getting their paycheck. You see, Congress, they have the best health insurance in the world. They give themselves raises all the time. So they ain't gonna do any of that.
That's another thing. They need to have a regular person's health care. Because when they get that bill or when they get, see all the little crazy stuff that we got to go through. What's up, Alan Amberster in the chat? Our guy, a.k.a. Neat. PJ Neat. All right, let me read what Robert Wilson said. I think that if every congressman lived on 1 month under minimum wage, I think they would have at least a thought of how America truly lives. I doubt that because most are well off. That's the thing. You got a lot of millionaires in Congress.
Bro, not even a month under minimum wage. They couldn't do it for a week.
Yeah,
they wouldn't be able to live. Their lunch is the minimum wage.
Matter of fact, in the House, their salary is $179,000 a year, I believe. It's like around there.
Yep. And once after 20 years, 179 for life.
Real. I'm gonna play a fun little clip meme that I came across. You guys are gonna think I'm crazy for playing this, but I thought this was funny. Where is it? Bendo, did you see that?
I thought there was a message.
Yo, Bendo, did you see that before?
Yeah, I think that's old. Because when the cat was popular for a minute.
Okay. I just saw it said me seeing socialists and strong progressives win multiple seats in our government, and that was when that night that India Walton from the new socialist mayor from Buffalo, actually not new yet, it's not official. She won the primary, and it just was announced that the Democrat who lost, who was the 4-time incumbent, he officially said that he's going to do a write-in campaign. So there's a chance that that she might still lose. So
wait, he's gonna do a what?
A write-in campaign.
Wow.
They want to split the vote. They want to mess it up.
Well, it's not a actually you're right. Actually, you are right. It might mess it up and a Republican might slip in there. Yeah.
So what's the case? We saw that. You read the article, the pact that the Democrats are creating, right?
Yeah.
No, is it for India or against India? Oh wow, that sucks.
I like how somebody does a writing campaign for the establishment. It's okay, but if it's the opposite, is unity.
Yep.
Unity. Why do you hate the unity?
Yep.
Even Crowley bowed out gracefully, and that's Crowley. Like,
that's mayor though. That's a mayor in Buffalo. You know, if it was federal, then they better say something. Not that they would or not, but I mean, who really is paying attention to the mayor of Buffalo right now?
I mean, when she's a socialist, that's a big deal.
That's big because every time we have a police issue, what city we talking about?
Yeah, but they're not gonna federally, big names. They're not gonna weigh in on
they going to, man.
I mean, if he wins, or if it comes like a close race, then yeah. But right now, in a heavily Democratic city, a Democrat winning a primary, there's nothing to talk about.
All right.
As one of our good friends says, I think, I could see them throwing them a few coins.
8 o'clock, baby. Let's get started. You guys ready? Let me read this last one from Alan. Bendone, you got a sponsorship for them, LOL. All right. Let's get this party started. What's going on, everybody? This is Case Study QB, and we are the political junkies back at it again. What's going on, everybody? Let me go around the horn. We got a fun-packed show for y'all. We got Carlito, we got Gabe, Izzy, Bendone, and John. And before I let them speak for a second and give you a little rundown, I'm just gonna show y'all what's to come. And this is the no cow zone that we got for today. First one is, what's the right age to teach children about the horrors of slavery? And then the second one, should progressive play identity politics when picking a candidate to run? So for example, I got a text today from Shahid Buttar that ran.
It is.
Without fail.
All right, damn. Yeah, so I had to give it to y'all. Had to give it to y'all one more time. But Shahid Buttar text and announced that he's raising money to potentially run again. So that's what we're going to discuss. Should he even run again? And anyway, we're going to get into that discussion later on. But and then I'm just going to give y'all a tease for next week. The next week no cow zone that I have so far is, should we reform, replace, or abolish the CIA? And does America even need an intelligence agency? So, very interesting. We're gonna get into that next week. I didn't give y'all that intro again. See, I did it the right time this way. All right, let's go into my peoples. Carlito, how you doing?
Yo, what up? We're not gonna get to talk about it, but I'm gonna sneak it in because I was talking to CMT Chris about Florida DeSantis writing a law or signing a bill that will make teachers and students what is it, like a survey where they have to declare the political affiliation.
BS.
Interesting. Gabe.
Things are good. I'm gonna throw in my extra story. It's the Florida Miami Beach building collapsing. Is a terrible tragedy that occurred, but it's one that could have been prevented, and it's one that's going to continue to occur over the next 20 years because of our crumbling infrastructure. That one in the case was a private project, but all of these bridges and roads are going to continue to deteriorate, and if we don't fix or replace them, unfortunately, those kind of things are going to continue. And we see this past week, supposedly they reached an agreement on a less than 1 billion infrastructure plan compromise deal, when even the lowest estimates of what we need to just bring our infrastructure up to reasonable is in the $10 billion range, or 10 trillion, sorry, $10 trillion range.
100%.
So for us to be not even 1/20th of that, it just is it's a spit in the face. It is a joke, and it is an indictment of why voting for the lesser of two evils, it will never get us where we want to go.
Yeah, totally. I agree with you, Gabe, to that point. I've been thinking, like, why don't Democrats, especially progressive Democrats, especially like Bernie Sanders, because I keep hearing when I'm watching mainstream media, they keep scoffing at the fact that Bernie's reconciliation bill starts at 6 trillion. But I'm thinking, like, why doesn't Bernie take this report of what you just said, that we need a $10 trillion infrastructure bill, and use that as a prop? Like, say, hey, this is what I didn't just make up this number out of nowhere. Here's the information. This is what we need, right?
The information is there, though.
Yeah,
they seen it. They just don't.
They pretend like they don't, John.
It's not beneficial because it's not beneficial for the billionaires. So it's that's what they see. So they have the data. They know what it is. They see our bridges. Our bridges are collapsing. They see everything, and they just ignore it.
Bridges, it's electrical, it's internet, it's the entire clean water with lead in the water, it's everything, and it's just a shame that when it's something that should be bipartisan, we can't even get that.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it. Az, what's going on, my man?
Well, I'm doing all right. Just here, wasting away, waiting for these New York City mayoral results. It looks like it's going to be a long time. So not about that. But I am glad that the baseball season is finally over. The John's team has eliminated our team from the Major League Baseball, so I don't have to watch anymore for the rest of the year. So now I'm free. I'm glad about it.
Hey, who's in the lead in that mayoral?
Eric Adams.
Still, but it's only in the first round, and he only has 33%. Like, it's going to change a lot, but we still have to see what's going to happen with the second round, and they're still not really close to that. Yeah,
Wiley's very confident, though, right? I think I was reading something where she mentioned that
she said she has a lane to victory. I don't know that I see it myself, but I'll keep my fingers crossed. We'll see.
Can we talk about how Andrew Yang pulled a Beto that he has such a name recognition and it was so promising, and then he freaking started listening to the consultants and the campaign advisors and don't be canceled and this and
I don't think
Israel and turn down free Dave Chappelle shows because
turn down free Dave Chappelle shows like an idiot.
Cancel Dave Chappelle.
I don't think he like turned a Beto. I think he probably had Bernie people running his campaign or something.
Ouch.
Rapid fire is starting early.
John, just for that, you getting skipped. Been known you getting skipped. And we gonna keep it moving because we gotta keep it moving anyway. So I want to give a quick shout out to E. Heller. E. Heller.
Don't worry.
Oh, yeah, you shout them out already, you said?
I already gave them all their props.
Okay. And even we have a new person that I haven't seen before, Silver Wolf. I haven't seen that person before. So much love to you, Urban Progressive. Chris is in the building. All right, much love. So let's keep it moving. And I'm just going to show this quick meme of the week. You can't have a nationwide labor shortage and claim immigrants are stealing jobs at the same time. You can't do it. Just can't do it.
You'll watch me. That's what they say. Watch me do it.
And then, you know what? Before we go into Carlito's rundown, let's do a couple trivia real quick. So we haven't done this one.
Wait, real quick.
Yeah.
I was gonna say on that last note, did you guys see the video of Biden saying, "Well, why don't you just pay them?" Talking about why don't businesses pay the people. And meanwhile, shout out to CaseStudyQB.
Much love.
Meanwhile, he didn't push for the $15 minimum wage. It's like, come on, you're so close.
Yeah,
you're so close. You could have did it. And
Sorry
about that.
Nah, it's all good. I'm compiling my next promo for my next ad kind of thing, and I got some really good people. I got Breed, Joy Gray, and I got Justin Jackson, a whole bunch. Even today, I just saw the Vanguard shouted me out, so that's awesome. But how crazy would it be if I just include Gabe and be like, hey, Gabe gave me a shout out, Political Junkies. Case Study QB. I don't know if that would be self-serving.
Actually, E. Heller's in the chat talking about tomorrow's Heartlands media should be crazy. It should be fire. No spoilers. I don't know what he's talking about there.
Oh, yeah.
Spicy.
With E. Heller, I don't know. I didn't get a chance to watch my Heartlands media, and I'm going to go back and watch it after the show, of course. But I don't know what they said, but I'm going to announce it now because I already put it on Twitter that I was going to announce when I'm going to have my on-camera interview, and that is going to be with my people at Harlan's Media. So that's going to happen tomorrow. It's going down at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Batman is unmasking.
Yes. So much love.
It's gonna be I am Iron Man.
Exactly.
So what
they're gonna be like people the first time they come here and they go to see the White House and they're like all excited and they're like, that's it.
Damn, Carlito, what you saying?
I said, so you're gonna show your face in this show from now on?
Nah, I think I'm still gonna be in the background. I want to show you guys. I want to promote you guys, push you guys.
Wild show.
Yeah. So let me get to the trivia real quick. Boom. Who is this guy? Oh, you got it? Somebody put it already?
Yeah, because you already showed. Yeah. You already showed the Congresswoman.
Yeah. I showed the Congresswoman. Oh, I put the, what you mean? Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, I didn't change that around.
He always does that too.
Of course you would
every
notice
so
that
often.
toxic.
Every so often.
That and the intro and the music never fails.
So see, I'm embarrassed now. I can't even think right now. So Hakeem Jeffrey. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. I'm showing him for a reason. We're going to talk about him a little bit later in another trivia question that I'm going to present. So, you know what? Let's get the other trivia question out the way while we're here. So, which item is true? Which one of these is true? So you guys have to guess.
Not number one.
Number one, number two, or number three. So the first one is number one is true. Wait, is number one true? No. Biden will forgive 10,000 worth of student loans, announced yesterday on July 4th.
Number two is the true one.
Let him read it, man. Let him read.
UK researchers have developed a weight loss device to help fight obesity by using a magnetic device to keep your jaw shut. And then the last one is Ayanna Pressley announced she will fight for Medicare eligibility down to 45 years old and up. So remember, Bernie wants down to 50. Was it 55 or 60? 55. Yeah. So which one is true?
don't know if it's 2 or 3. 2 sounds crazy, but
2.
Well, Gabe already said 2. Mad confidence, so I'm a piggyback.
Okay, Izzy.
I guess I'll go with 2.
Bendone says 1.
The vaccine makes you magnetized, so
Yeah.
Bendone is just hoping.
Okay, John is saying.
That's a 2, yeah.
Okay, Chris has 2. Neat has 3. The answer is 2. So this is the article. Researchers developed world first class weight loss device. They got flamed on Twitter. Like, people were so disgusted by this. And so this is the idea.
Wait, you said jar closed? They meant jaw?
Apparently.
Jaw. Oh, my bad.
Wow.
I said jaw.
That's a big typo.
I thought he was talking about the jaw.
I did not even notice that
cookies.
until you said that, Gabe.
You took it off, but it's magnetized.
And you still got it right, though. You still got it right. So, yeah.
I thought they meant their mouth. I thought they were trying to be like a pun, you know. Like,
that's why I said you got your body's magnetized.
That's what I meant.
So
there you go. Yeah, Carlito. What Carlito said?
Thank you, Bedon. Now we are demonetized. Thank you.
I thought it was Yar. Like, hey, what's the password to the cookie jar?
See, Chris knew what I meant. Chris knew what I meant. Me and you are on the same page. But anyway, yeah. So just the idea is they would only use liquid food to survive. So I'm like, how would you even talk then? Like, it's crazy. It's maddening how somebody could even think and come up with this crazy thing. So, all right, let's move on to Carlitos.
I just knew it was right because the Democrats are so weak they can't get us anything good. So a preposterous claim about magnetism in jars is more likely than the Democrats fighting for us.
But you know what? That was in America this time. That's in UK.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying it's a preposterous thing. It doesn't matter if it's here, anywhere, but more likely than even saying 45-year-old for Medicare for all or Medicare.
Or $10,000.
Yeah.
All right.
CMT, I see you, brother. Thank you.
Lady, Chris.
Lady.
Yeah. She's a woman. Yep.
Toxic.
Yep. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you so much, Chris, for the super chat. Much love to you. Fan character with eyes wide open.
That's my toxic masculinity. So it shows that we need more diversity in this panel. We need some more ladies. We need Imani back.
Imani, come back.
Let's replace Imani.
All right, Carlito.
All right. Let's get this crack-a-lackin' with the musket fire.
Yeah.
The first story. The Bezos theory of value is deeply disturbing by William Banks and Alex N. Press with Jacobin. On April 15, Jeff Bezos sent his final letter to shareholders as CEO. The authors of this article described it as such. That Bezos letter is characterized by its intellectual paucity, which I had to look it up. It's like basically ain't got none. Its ethical bankruptcy, its rhetorical clumsiness. It's immediately evident to anyone outside the triumphalist bubble of the business and tech press, and yet we ignore it at our peril. So basically, he sees himself and his aristocratic Silicon Valley types as inventors, and the true source of value in an economy are not the labor that makes their inventions possible. You know, never mind that Amazon is the least inventive of the giant tech firms and derives its wealth from the old traditional sport of exploiting labor partners to squeeze out margins. So, Case, how is this guy going to space if his head won't fit in the rocket?
Yo, I just think this guy is just the living embody of that superhero, Superman, superhero. Lex Luthor. Like, literally, this guy, there was another story that came out about how in UK, Amazon throws away hundreds of $1,000s worth of products. Half of them are used, but they're still brand new. They're pretty new, but they're used. And then the other half is brand new. And I'm talking about MacBooks, iPhones, and they're literally throwing this stuff away once a week just because of capitalism. And I'll tell a personal story about that. I used to work at Toshiba, and when they shut down, we got laid off, and they shut down the headquarters up in Wayne, New Jersey. They I heard that they had a warehouse full of TVs, and they smashed them all. So instead of putting it into the market where they're risking that the TV prices will go down because they're adding more to the market, they're just throwing it away, hoping to keep driving the TV prices up.
That's kind of like restaurants and like fast food restaurants and other restaurants.
Perfect.
They have a lot of food left over.
Yes.
They rather throw away than give it away.
Perfect.
Like I understand
example.
sometimes they're afraid of getting sued if somebody gets sick from it.
I heard that's a myth though. Like that happened. One person talked about that and then it just spread. Like I heard that doesn't happen really.
No, I mean it can happen. Like
can
I know
happen?
people who work in the food industry that's what they have to do, or at least by law and all that. I mean that's different. But the smashing TV, I even hear of companies, they have perfectly good laptops that they use that they just destroy. But at least then their data's on the hard drives. Okay, maybe fine, I get it.
Yeah,
but
I can understand
smashing
that.
TVs. I mean, what is the excuse for that? Smashing. And laptops that Amazon hasn't sold. I mean, come on.
You can give that to nonprofit organizations, churches,
Boys and Girls
other
Club.
How many
Boys and Girls
schools don't
Club,
have like laptops,
schools. Exactly. So this just goes to show how evil, and it's a systemic thing. This is just at its heart. And there was another story about how he made sure that grunt workers at Amazon, and this is before Amazon was like that big too. Like this was his mentality before, that grunt workers, he didn't want them to elevate and go up to become managers or go to higher levels of the levels of working there, and he rather have a high turnover rate for the grunt workers, people in the factories and stuff like it. This guy's just evil. He's just straight evil. And I agree.
They had something like it was like 120% turnover per year, meaning that more than the entire workforce overturns every single year. So that's bananas. But the one thing is, this shows the weakness of our labor class, our working class, because seeing this, we know that the real value, of course, I would agree that there's value in the innovations that are created, but whether it's the janitor that's sweeping the hallways, if he disappeared, the hallways would be disgusting and people couldn't walk around. It's like everybody has a part in making these companies great. And I think if Bezos would have the chance to still be one of the richest people, and if he paid his people right, he would be celebrated. But he doesn't care about wanting to do the right thing because it's money over everything. He doesn't care what we think. He doesn't care about public perception. That doesn't pay his bills. So it just sucks that, having such an opportunity that you could be one of the world's most loved people, the biggest job creator, and be paying people. Look at how much people love the CEO of Gravity Payments, and I think he only has a couple hundred employees, and he's so popular. Imagine if Jeff Bezos did the same thing. It would be, it will reverberate through the entire workforce and the entire industry. So
he couldn't afford a rocket.
Yeah. All right.
Or a yacht.
Before we move on,
a yacht.
Yeah, exactly. Before we move on, real quick, E. Heller said Bezos equals Zorg from Fifth Element. Be Zorg. All right, go ahead, Carlito.
Yeah, something else in the chat. E. Heller said there are legit food safety issues in restaurants need to deal with, but generally there's a lot of ways. I know I used to work fast food like in high school and stuff, and they put the time when you make the food to know how long it's good for. If you don't sell it by a certain amount of time, you got to throw it away because it won't last off the shelf that long. So that's one thing that we had to deal with. So there are some issues, but at the same time, I know me and other people I knew were working right before closing time, accidentally made extra food so then we could take it home and feed the whole family with it. So
what you gotta do.
CMT in the chat, we need to tax churches. That is a fact. That's the biggest hustle of all time, is if you want to get rich, open a church.
All right, next story. Cops told him the First Amendment doesn't apply, and then they arrested him to prove it. By Tia Graham and Stephen Janis for TheRealNews.com. So the arrest of a cop watcher by Texas police raises serious questions about the rights of citizen journalists and the state of the First Amendment. So this video shows cop watcher and activist David Boren being tackled and arrested while filming a traffic stop in Texas. This raises serious questions about the First Amendment, like I said, but unfortunately, especially since the Black Lives Matter protests, cities and states are trying to add laws to the books that makes filming cops a crime. And one of the excuses that I read is that it distracts them from doing their job. So, Gabe, if a cop can be easily distracted by having a camera pointing at them from across the street, should we just hire Twitch streamers to be cops since they game under a lot of pressure for $100,000 with multiple cameras in their face?
It is just it's a joke that cops are and that the establishment supports cops. I was having a conversation with my dad the other day, and he was defending cops. I was like, they don't need your defense. They already have the unions. They have everybody. You don't need to defend them.
Yep.
Like, just criticize them honestly. And looking at this video wasn't even that egregious when I watched it. It was, and I think it's just because I'm so desensitized because of all the videos I've seen. One thing I want to say is there's a whole community of people called First Amendment auditors, and I really credit these people when they do it right. And they pretty much just go out and they try different things, recording in like a post office or recording near a correctional facility and trying to follow all the rules, and then almost trying to bait the police into a confrontation in a way without doing anything that's illegal. And then when they have the conversation, they refuse to provide their papers because they haven't committed a crime, etc. So I commend that community of auditors, and one channel that I've been watching over the last like 3 months really heavily is Audit the Audit on YouTube, because they're probably the most unbiased source of police criticism and also citizen criticism that I've seen. Is they analyze each interaction and show the case law that applies in this situation, prior rulings, Supreme Court rulings, state and local rulings, and literally go bit by bit. And at the end, they assign a letter grade to the citizen, to the original cops, and if there was a supervisor called, to the supervisor cops. And you'll see some of the videos are cops get an F, citizen gets an A. Some of them are everybody gets an F. So it's really interesting to see that, where it's just really focusing on just the facts of the situation. I've learned a ton watching that channel, and I highly recommend. It's a good way to keep yourself out of trouble. And what the main thing that I learned was, hold on, sorry guys.
Keep your mouth shut. Don't ever talk to cops.
Yeah, the main thing I learned was that if a cop gives you what's considered a lawful order, whether you agree or not, you should follow it and then take it up with them later, and then sue later, versus resisting in the moment, because resisting in the moment can then get you a resist charge, and then that's a real crime.
Yeah, especially depending on your hue. Questioning a cop will not go well for you.
Yeah, Chris said, my best friend and former business partner is a cop. We both saw what happened to George Floyd, and he said that Chauvin is a lunatic. That's what she said. Yep. Crazy. Yo, Gabe, put that in the chat. What the website that you were talking about? Yeah.
Like Audit the Auditor or something like that. Yeah, Gabe put me onto that, and I wasted like a whole day watching videos. My employer thanks you.
That sounds crazy, but yeah, go ahead, Carlito.
All right. So speaking of cops, next story. City of East Point and formerly crime-ridden apartments to provide free housing for first responders by the WSBTV.com news staff. So I lost power, and then when I came back, I lost internet this weekend. So I was watching news the old-fashioned way, and I caught this on TV. Basically, cops and firefighters are getting free apartments in this complex in an area that's considered dangerous. And to my surprise, this is not totally uncommon in the country. I looked it up, and it has happened in a bunch of different places. This particular story says it's a partnership with the city and the complex. So I don't know if there's any taxpayer money going into it in order to subsidize the apartments. But looking at other situations, there has been subsidies or moving stipends paid out of tax coffers in the past. Now, Bedon, cops are nowhere near the top of my favorite profession, as you know. But why is it that I don't think this is necessarily bad?
I've always found it interesting and I always forget like the type of people that you need to be, whether it's state employees or is it just firefighters, that you have to live in the area that you work with, or you lose your residence, you lose your job, right? Type of thing. Because I think it goes back to, I think what the article was saying is community policing, because then you know who you're working with, how to engage with those folks. And because I think, again, half the battle, no, I'm gonna make that up. But if you're a police officer that doesn't know the community, knows the kids, knows the people, the way that you police is going to be different than you being immersed in it with the culture.
So that's why I think is not necessarily bad. I don't love that they're getting free apartments, but I know that in a lot of areas, the cops that patrol those areas don't even live there. They're not able to establish any camaraderie or any community relations, so they don't really care about anything that happens there. But if you live there, maybe you'll care more and you'll treat people with some respect, and you won't go overboard. So, that's what I'm hoping is it's a good thing. So next story. The New York City unions whose backdoor deal sold out retirees helped insurance industry, by Julia Rock, the Daily Poster for Newsweek. So New York City, the umbrella organization for the city's public sector unions, the Municipal Labor Committee, MLC, recently helped the health insurance industry block a statewide single-payer bill on the grounds that their members wanted to keep the healthcare benefits for which they had sacrificed wage increases. But it turns out that the MLC, with bargains for healthcare benefits for city unions, was also engaging in backdoor negotiations with the city, resulting in a proposal to switch nearly 250,000 people from Medicare to privately administered Medicare Advantage plans. The move, scheduled to go into effect July 1st, would change the annual out-of-pocket cost of those impacted from a maximum of $1,053 per year to up to $7,550, and it could also force retirees to find new doctors, as many doctors don't accept Medicare Advantage plan, and could require prior authorization for procedures, which tends to lead to high claim denial rates. So, Izzy, what would a union, which is supposed to look out for its members, do this?
Well, if you if you just fast forward to the bottom of that article, basically they ended off on the perfect note. Retirees pointed to MLC personnel with ties to the health insurance companies that end up providing the new Medicare Advantage plans as potential conflicts of interest. Gregory Floyd, sorry, president of the Teamsters Local 237 and secretary of the MLC, is on the board of Emblem Health. So, I mean, that tells you everything you need to know. And, I just want to say, I don't necessarily want to toot our horn here on the show, but I think that this is a great article for us to present on here, because we're always talking about how great labor unions are, and they are. But, we're also not afraid to show both sides, right? Like, there are downsides. There are definitely shady backroom deals that even happen with unions that we need to point out, to make them better. We need to call them out on their stuff. And make sure that things like this don't continue to happen. So it's not all labor unions are great. Sometimes these things do happen, but I'm just really glad that we're pointing this out. Yeah, I mean, this is a travesty. This is, a lot of people are going to suffer for this because their bills are going to go way up. And I mean, you see why. This guy's on the board of Emblem Health. I mean, how are you supposed to defend that?
Ridiculous. I think we saw this before with I think it was the service workers union in Las Vegas, when they were arguing about endorsing Bernie for president before.
Yeah, we did see
members
that.
Versus the union leadership. And I think another reason that it came up back then is that the union leaders might feel that if the workers already have a great health benefit provided by the government, then they don't need the union as much, because the unions didn't negotiate it for them. It's already a given that they have it. So maybe the union has to do more, or for its members, or maybe they feel like they don't need to exist anymore. So I don't know. I mean, I'll be glad if there's a world where unions weren't necessary, but we're far from it.
Actions show your value in other ways,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Case, go ahead.
Actions speak louder than words also said cop unions are bad as well. And I've seen in the media in a couple different places, of course, Fox, where they actually argue that not to have qualified immunity taken away, because then the police will be personally responsible. Like, I see they openly say this out in the open. It's crazy.
And also the umpire union in the MLB is also very terrible, and they need to go too, because umpires in the major leagues are garbage. But outside of that, they're good.
Okay. Cool. Go ahead, Carly.
I think, I don't know if it was going back to the last story, but Alan Emerson said in the chat, this is how Brooklyn became gentrified. I think he was talking about cops moving in there, maybe. I don't think that's a problem at least in this Atlanta situation. But yeah, I could see that being a problem in some areas in New York City, for example. And I see CMT said, if we can't fix this by 2022, I'm buying property in Mexico. I'm going to have a place for my family. So she's about done with this place, man.
I hear that.
All right, next story. California to pay off all past due rent accrued during COVID, giving renters clean slate, by Julia Martin on Newsweek. So the state is using $5.2 billion from congressionally approved aid to pay overdue rent. However, many people still don't have jobs to pay rent after June 30th, when the moratorium on eviction is supposed to expire. There are negotiations in the state budget over extending the moratorium and giving tenants additional help. So all is not lost yet, but at least many tenants will have to worry about getting sued for back rent, and landlords will be made whole. One problem they're still having is distributing the money fast enough. So with that said, why are more states following California footsteps, John?
Well, we always talk about like Newsom, right? I think it was one of the case always put him in his hit list, right? So we always give him a lot of bad things, but I think this is one that we could give him definitely credit. Yeah, they're not doing it fast enough. They should, but like we know it, like the government is always moving so slow, right? And they expect everything. Well, June 30th is Wednesday, and they expect everything to be done, and there's got to be a way. But I think Newsom talked about also the possibility of extending it, because we know that everybody wants to claim that everybody's like back to jobs, but all the jobs that are back and they're exceeding expectations are the whole high-paying jobs. Those ones that are making 37,000 or less, those jobs are not back, and those are the people that are usually struggling. And we know that those are the folks like the Latino and colored community and African American communities are the ones that are being affected a lot by this. So why other states don't follow suit is because we know that California typically is ahead originally, but if it works in California, then we will have New York, and some of those blue states definitely follow suit. I don't see Florida or Texas or any of those red states really doing anything for their people.
And I just gotta say, like, real quick, like, I don't know how everybody else on the panel feels, but I was surprised that the number was so low. $5 billion for all California residents. To me, that was on the low end for what I would have expected.
Yeah. Well, you got to think about like a lot of the high-paying jobs. You got to look at like the restaurant industry and the small businesses. So I think they're probably like a lot of the people. I think the article mentioned like those high-paying jobs actually exceeded pre-pandemic, numbers. So that's probably there's a lot of people that still kept their jobs, so they probably still pay their rent. So maybe it depends on the type of folks that actually got affected by it. But
yeah.
So here's where I was gonna say here's where the Republican alter ego comes out. I'm like twitching, because it's like this is great, right? And now, what's the plan going forward? There should be a federal jobs guarantee. I'm a big believer that the lowest job, the lowest minimum wage that we have should be at least double whatever the universal basic income or welfare programs are. And in this case, excellent. Let's start from scratch. Now the plan should be a federal jobs guarantee to build out the infrastructure for California. And now if you're gonna, instead of just now not coming up with a solution, and then you already know in another 6 months they're gonna have to do it again, and that's not a good policy. It's not a good policy to just continue to give out money. I think because of the pandemic, it does make sense to do this first round, but there's no solution for the second round, and they're not gonna do anything. And they're just
what's when you say federal jobs guarantee, what does that mean? Like I graduate college and then I could just go work at
it means that if you lose your job tomorrow, there you could go and apply for a federal job, whether it's doing in carpentry, getting trained in a trade. You could clean a park. You could do all the stuff that has to be done around to fix our communities.
Why can't they do that now?
Because that's what I'm saying. They should. They should come out with that.
That's the proposal. Why can't they go get that job?
Well, right now the jobs are not paying. It has to be coupled with a living wage. I don't think that these people should be going out and going to flip burgers for a minimum wage that's not a living wage to pay their rents. I think that if the government's not going to give you a $15 minimum wage, the best fight that they have is holding out on those jobs and not going to them. And we're already seeing the returns on that, where you see McDonald's $18, you see Burger King $17, In-N-Out $18, stuff like that. So I think that this is them flexing the little bit of power that they have. But once the moratoriums run out and people start getting evicted, they're going to drop those wages again unless something changes. So
yeah. But I mean, you can't just, I first of all, I agree 100% with a federal job guarantee, but just for California, it has to be for the whole country.
I'm saying if California is doing this program, I'm using California like an example, and then I agree statewide job. Yeah, I'm saying
but for me,
that whole thing you said federal is really state. Like, come on. You know what I mean?
Semantics, though. But for me, it's too much.
That's why
grammar police.
Yeah, I think the issue that we're gonna face, I think, is like, yeah, they're gonna pay all this back rent, but I was reading, there was someone there that they can't find a job, and they pay.
But
they have
is
to pay.
it they can't find a job, or they can't find a job at the wage that they had before?
No, sometimes both.
But think about it. If you're paying $2,000 a month in your rent, and your rent is $2,000 a month, you can't go work for $7.25 because you can't pay your rent. So if you were making $25 an hour, you have to find a $25 an hour job, because that's the job that's going to be able to pay your rent and your bills. You have people still like, they don't have jobs, so they still have to keep with schools. We don't even know some states. Some states are still going back. They haven't opened fully. They still giving people the option of distant learning. If you don't have a way, or if daycare is now open, so if anything, if you don't have that, you don't have anything to pay. So yeah, they're going to do back rent pay, and then once they do that, what's going to happen? I'm looking for jobs. I can't find a job. I'm just going to be back where I was. Right?
I don't know, maybe because in Connecticut I keep seeing for hire sign. Like in my head, well, I don't disagree with you. Like if I was to lose my job, I would want to get a job that pays me the same. But if I needed something, I don't want to say to hold me over, right, so that I'm not starving or anything, I would want to go get something. Because what happens to unemployment then, Gabe? Like, does that disappear?
Unemployment is gonna exist for people it would be more like disability. Like it's for people who can't work, who physically cannot work. And it's not just one program that's gonna fix it all. It all has to go together. We know that we want to get single mothers to work. We have to have programs for childcare and things like that. So it's gonna be a whole slew of programs. But I think that unemployment should not exist if you are able to work. And in that case, we should provide you with jobs that pay above a living wage, and that'll be the best way to get the private industry to raise their wages as well, because if they have to compete with the federal government that is paying living wages, they're going to have to be forced.
That's why it's not done right there.
Yeah, but to me, unemployment is like, it's a scam, man. You pay for this, and then they give you all the runaround, and they make every way possible to tell you no, and to try to deny. Like, we pay into it. Like, it's like you're supposed to be paying into it in the event that you need it, and then when you do need it, they're like, oh no, this form was wrong. Oh, you submitted it the wrong day. You're supposed to submit it at this time, or no, you did this wrong, and oh, we're not going to pay you. You missed this week. It's a scam, man. Like, there's got to be better ways.
One thing I want to mention is that we've done this before. During the Great Depression.
Exactly.
That's how a lot of our national parks.
I think it's the WPA. The WPA.
Yeah, so it could, it has been done before, so we could do it again. And second thing is, there are plenty of work that could be done. All these infrastructure jobs that we're talking about, people that could get trained, that could go and do all kinds of clean energy jobs.
Yeah.
It could definitely happen. The problem is, again, when we have politicians that are bought out by corporations, they know that they don't want the government involved in. They like the government being involved in giving them money, but not to directly help the individuals with jobs, because they don't want to have to raise their wages and they don't want to have to compete.
All right, let me ask this question real quick to Gabe, because I was about to pull his no calzone card out with this statement that he's talking about. So let me ask you this question: you are for UBI, right?
I have undecided on UBI. I think it's undecided.
Oh, interesting.
I think there needs to be a social safety net, and needs to be a generous social safety net, so that if you lose your job, you are able to get back and get on your feet and not go homeless. It's probably going to be a combination of the universal jobs guarantee, affordable housing. It's a comprehensive program that's beyond my current capabilities, that we would have to sit here and come up with policy. But it's a combination of all of that. I don't think that anybody should be homeless, even in the worst situations. You should get at least a tiny home or something.
We're not even in no calzone, and you cancel you and Neat in the chat because he agreed with you. Alan Amberster, you guys are both canceled now. I'm just playing with y'all. Much love to you. But real quick,
Bezos sign into the to give away his money when he passes away?
No, he didn't.
His wife did, right? I think he didn't.
Did he?
His wife is trying to give away all.
I never heard about that one. But the reason why
the reason why I brought it up is because Actions brought up a question was,
what
happens to his money if he blows up go to space.
In space.
Oh, he just stays there. He makes.
He has kids, right?
Fund, passes it down to kids.
Yeah, I think he has kids.
Building a new aristocracy.
Yeah, tax-free, right? Tax-free, right? Gets passed to the kids tax-free.
Pretty much, yeah.
But the reason why I brought up UBI was in the case that I think John brought up the $2,000 a month for rent, right? If you had two people who were getting UBI of $1,000 a month, like Andrew Yang was promoting, that automatically that will pay for their rent right there. That's what I was thinking about.
But that's not how Andrew Yang was promoting. Andrew
Yang of course,
yeah.
The reason I'm not convinced on just a flat 1,000 is because if it goes away and gets rid of other programs for people that need them, and it's very complicated. So it's not just a flat, just give everybody 1,000, because it might be the number might be 2,000, the number might be 4,000. I don't know what that number is, so we have to get to that. And I think that if you do give a UBI with no conditions, you're going to end up in a case with like hyperinflation, where people will just raise the rents, raise
MMT
everything.
Baby.
And that's why we need to have plans in place for housing, for affordable housing, so that the rents can't go up and things like that. So,
all right,
last thing I wanted to say real quick before we go, I know we're already over time, but the idea that I have, that it's a crazy idea, it's a calzone idea, but I think that every public college should every public college and every public high school should have mandatory trade training, that you could pick whatever trade you want, whether it's whether it's building, whether it's electrical, plumbing, so that in the case where you do get on your unemployment, you already are trained for a trade that you can help with.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't agree with that.
I know.
Really? That's okay. We might have to have that as a no-call zone in the future, though. All right,
that's a good one.
Let's do that for next week, because we needed a second no-call zone. So let's do that for next week. And the reason, I lost my train of thought before Gabe, you said that with the UBI, and I'm trying to think. All right, let's move on.
You're just thinking about Heartland's media tomorrow. That's all.
Maybe it'll come back to me. I was thinking about something with the UBI. Go ahead, Carlito.
Yeah. Where it says CMT was calling the Satan, and that cracked me up. I died.
Wait, what was that?
That's name for him right there.
That's going to be her rally call. She also said that she was talking about where she wants to move due to climate issues, and that she's looking at a place a mile above sea level. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually a really smart bet, because maybe within 10, 20 years, it won't be completely underwater.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. So I just remembered what I was going to say is about MMT. Because you were saying you're worried about inflation, Gabe. So that points towards that I need to find somebody who is an expert in MMT to maybe come on the show, be a guest, and we could have a show about MMT. And people in the chat, if you're interested in that, let me know. All right. What else in the chat do we have going on?
Action said that Morales was for UBI without taking away safety net. And that's why the what's his face? The Yang's UBI was Fugazi, because he was offsetting the money from the UBI by taking away from some of the safety net. So that's why it wasn't a true UBI anyway.
And he didn't even have one for New York City. At least Morales' plan is for New York City. He didn't have a UBI plan for New York City, right, Izzy?
I can't remember. I believe I honestly I can't remember. I'm not sure. I really paid attention to that.
From what I understand, if he did have something, it was like only for poor people. I think he might have had a UBI only for poor people, not for everybody. I think
that sounds about right.
Yeah. All right. Anything else in the chat before we move on?
TMC said that this restaurateurs are crying wolf down here. They had us paying 20% of our tips to other employees, and we had to claim we made. They didn't have to claim anything. I'm not sure exactly what that means, if you could explain, but it sounds like 20% of the tips was to go towards other employees, and they had to claim it as money for them that they earned.
It's crazy.
So that sounds kind of illegal, actually.
Man, that sounds crazy. All right, man, 8:44 already. Time is flying. So let's go on to the last trivia here. True or false? Did House Democrats launch PAC to protect moderate and progressive incumbents from challenges? So the tricky part is and progressive incumbents.
You're giving it away right there.
You're giving it away. You just ask the question.
Just ask the question, man. Come on, man.
Is it true or false?
It's false.
It's true.
False.
Come on, man.
It's true.
So who says true?
False.
Gabe says true. Carliso says true.
I said false.
But no, see, so people get mad at me for emphasizing progressives, like I was tricking, like I was giving it away. It's false.
You gave it away.
The answer is true.
Is it?
It's true because it's not about the progressives and it's just incumbents. The power is in the incumbency. That's why AOC and them will go along to get along, because at the end of the day they'll get protected too, because once you're in the club, you're in the club. All right, so they'll have their little squabbles, but they're in the club.
So let me read this article.
When I see it, they're going to protect progressives.
It's true. So this is why I emphasize progressive. Let me just read this real quick. So two of these new groups leaders that's of this pack and represents the more moderate fractions of the Democratic caucus, which are more likely to see primaries from the left.
Nah, look at the end though. Look at the last sentence.
But look, I'm getting to it.
The group plans to defend progressive member. Who? She's no.
First of all,
come on.
Jeffries is like.
Wait, hold on. First of all, hold on, Carlito. Everybody. Hold on.
Maloney's not progressive.
Yo, you guys are killing. You guys are killing me right now. So first of all,
give him the thumb down.
If this was a podcast, we have to let people be articulate and finish the thoughts and finish reading stuff, because people are not watching us. All right, so we're not a podcast yet, but I'm just saying you got to let people talk. Lord have mercy. People in the chat, give all these guys boos, Carlito and John. Anyway,
it's like two.
So here we go. So yes, Jeffries is the third person who he is part of the Congressional Progressive Caucus,
which is a joke.
Which is okay. And the group plans to defend. It says here, the last line says the group plans to defend progressive members Carol Maloney of New York, Danny Davis, who are already facing primary challenges from the far left. I know Carol Maloney has.
That's what I'm trying to point out since the beginning. Like, okay, they're not helping these progressives against the centrist challengers or regular Democratic challengers or right-wing challengers. They're trying to help these quote-unquote progressives against far left challengers. That's context right there that we were missing when you first threw that trivia question out.
I refuse. No, hold on, John. Izzy, I disagree with you, because they consider themselves progressives. He is part of the progressive caucus. I didn't say far left or socialist caucus.
But the establishment is trying to help keep those guys in power.
I agree,
rather than the far left ones that they're being challenged by.
I consider myself a billionaire.
Right, that's the key right there. Like, of course, the DNC or whoever, I missed who was even funding this, but of course they would help these progressive people, the House Democrat, the pact that they created, because they're afraid of the far left challengers, not the right challengers, not the centrist challengers. They would gladly welcome those.
Yeah, but that's what I put here. I didn't put far left incumbents.
One of the worst, like, she's very vulnerable, and that's the reason why they're trying to protect her. If you know, that guy that ran against her, the lawyer, that he came very
he did close. Twice. He ran against her twice. Yeah,
and there was some stuff there that came to they had to do some type of recount and stuff, and I forgot who is the one that's challenging her. Do you know, Izzy? Who's challenging her right now? I think it's that is it the one that we saw the video of? I'm sorry, I can't remember the name.
Yeah, but I'm looking it up.
But I think, that's the reason why, because they know she's vulnerable, but there's no way that she's progressive. She's one of the worst Congress people there is out there, and they know she's vulnerable, and they're not trying to have another, what is that, the one that Jamal Bowman beat in the
Engel.
They're not trying to have that, so they say progressive, because now everybody used that word, but she is not progressive.
But Carol is for Medicare for all. She said she's for Medicare for all, John.
All right.
Yeah.
What about this?
Maloney?
Isn't that what Richie Torres said?
Huh? What you said?
Isn't that what Richie Torres said?
He did too. I think he did too. I think Richie did too. I don't know.
Caroline Maloney.
No, Colin Allred.
Oh, Colin Allred. Yeah. But he got elected and he's not for it now. So at least she's still elected, and she says she's. Now I hear you, because we don't know for sure if she's for it for sure. But anyway, let's get to the no cow zone, because we got like 10 minutes left for no cow zone. I don't even know if we're going to be able to do both. So all right. So the
progressive is the new liberal. So we're not going to call ourselves progressives anymore.
So let's see.
Run for city council next time.
Yes.
Yeah, but she's running. Oh, CM Chris is running for represent or potentially running. She says she doesn't know yet exactly, but we'll see what happens. If you do, definitely let us know. We'll promote you.
I said I should have ran, but because there was no challengers and would have won.
Oh wow, damn! There, you definitely should have ran. All right, let's get into No Cow Zone. What's the right age to teach children about the horrors of slavery? And I'm talking about the horrors of slavery. So, like, you know, they had something called butt breaking, I believe, where they will get the biggest African American male, and in front of all the other slaves, they would sodomize them. So that's one of the things. And so to describe that to your child, like what age would you tell them about? That's one of the things. And then of course there's rape. It is incest that they force mothers and sons and, you know, to have incestual relationships. So Carlito, let me go to you first.
8.
I
mean, listen, you can say a lot of those things, you know, and without using those exact words.
Okay.
You know, I
don't know how you would.
Maybe I'm destroying my kids, but I've been like I tell them whatever, man. They gotta know about this world. Unfortunately,
give us an example of one of the things you told them.
I mean, I've been telling them about, you know, police violence for a long time.
Okay.
I don't know, like 5.
Talk about the horrors though. These are graphic stuff. This stuff they can say, police are bad. That's easy.
My oldest is 12.
Okay.
With her, I go in like deeper that I go with my 9-year-old.
Okay, so 12. Okay.
You know, but as far as, you know, maybe I won't say the specific thing that they're doing, but I said if it's talking about rape, I'll tell them rape. I'll tell them about rape. Whenever they talk about something in their history class that I have something to add, you know, I'll tell them about it. We're talking about indigenous things. I'll tell them about Columbus and all that crap. And, you know, I told them about genocide, you know, and they said like, well, what's that? You know, so yeah, they're killing everybody pretty much. So I won't tell them, well, how they killed them, but I tell them, yeah, kill everybody. You know, and this topic came up because we were talking about some law professors wanting to tone down what they teach because they think it might not be necessary. I forgot which case specifically.
Okay.
And they say like it's not necessary, but to me, it's necessary to be clear and blunt about it, because that's how, you know, you don't let it happen again. If you know what happened, you can try to prevent it. But if you're ignorant about it, you're gonna think, oh, everything was fine, and you know, they were just, you know, friendly, and they were just indentured servants or whatever.
Yeah, we've been telling, we have a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old, and the 10-year-old we're a lot more open. So like this year for we were talking about the Tulsa race riot and things like that, and are trying to be more open. They did come up with like the rape word, and we kind of dodged that one. We were like, it's probably not ready for that conversation yet, but we're working to get there. And then with the 5-year-old, we just try to keep it very, very, very high level, just like, you know, bad things happened, and as they get older, I think once I have the talk with my older kid, then at that point you could kind of explain like, and then there's also rape, and that's what happened.
Good idea. Okay. Izzy, you don't have to worry about that.
No, Izzy is important, because even if you don't have kids, I mean, you still care about public school, for example, what they teach, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
your nephews and stuff like that. You know?
I'm the only one who doesn't have kids, but I'm with you, Carlito. I would, if I had kids, I would be completely honest with them. I would find ways to describe it that
what age,
good for their ears, but I would be completely honest with
what
them.
Age?
Like from the start.
What age is he?
Oh, what age? Oh, probably 5. Carlito started at 5. I would start around 5. Yep.
You going to talk about rape at 5?
I mean, listen, I would be telling them about how bad
people talk about rape at 5 already. They say like, no, don't be touching people, touching your no square, whatever they want to call it. But that's talking about rape.
Yeah. I heard that you got to make sure. There's a story that my wife told me that she heard from somewhere else, that they called it the cookies, right? That's one of the things they call down there, and you should not put a nice name around it, like just straight call what vagina, or whatever you want to call it, because unfortunately, this is a sad story. A little girl was going to school, and she was telling her teacher, "Oh, my uncle touches my cookie," and the teacher just like didn't think about it and was like, okay, whatever. And then at some point, they had parents teachers meeting, and the teacher brought it up to the parents and said, yeah, but your daughter keeps talking about her uncle touching her cookie. And they knew what it was because that's what they would call it, and they just had like a ghost face, and they was just wow. So
yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, I trying to use the correct terms for stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, one of my daughters always like say it and kind of cringes. She's kind of more shy about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was never the type to be using our baby talk anyway.
100%. Bendone, and then John, and then let's see if we can get the second one in real quick. Bendone. You're mute, buddy.
Mute, Bendone.
It's a question. It's not a right or wrong answer.
Who keeps muting me? Sabotage. I don't know. I mean, because the way that the question is framed, I also don't understand the context, right? Is it just a random, I'm just going to sit you down? Or is it because it's something that's going on in school that I need to just enhance?
No,
maybe like current events.
You know, so I think... I can't remember what I did when I was 5, but I think it all depends on what's happening in the world and what I need to explain, and then trying to use that right language. I don't have an age in mind.
Okay.
But
what's the age of your oldest child right now?
3.
3. Okay, you don't have to worry about that for a while, John.
I think between 8 and 10. I think it'll be a good age to start talking.
Okay.
So they will be able to understand, and I think, you know, as we as parents, we have to, like, you know, talk about it, like, and let them know exactly. And also talk about, like, you know, that every picture, like, you know, we know that the United States always, what they tell you is, oh, how great we are, and we win every war, and how powerful it is, and teach our kids that the history of this country, that it's not as great as people think it is. Well, everything, you know, and it could be better. And I think at 8 and 10, they will have a better understanding of everything, of history and everything. So yeah.
Cool. I really like Gabe's idea. You know, my child, I have oldest is 10 and my son is 8, and I really like Gabe's idea with at the same like moment of talking, giving them the talk, like kind of have a deep conversation by throwing that in there as well. And I see Chris said, my kids know that our country was and is screwed up. I pulled them out of public schools because I wanted them to be with people who they were going to have to work with. Okay, so the next no-cow zone. Should progressive play identity politics when picking a candidate to run? So like I said at the beginning, Shahid Buttar, I got a text just today for him raising money to go up against Nancy Pelosi. And I think in the text, he didn't officially say he's doing it again, but it's most like at this point, he's going to run again. And
From who again? Sorry.
Shahid Buttar. Shahid Buttar, who ran twice already against Nancy Pelosi. And the question is, should we get another, and we're being straight up 100%, this no cow zone. So should we get a younger white woman to run against the old Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah. Well, it definitely shouldn't be Shahid Buttar again.
Yeah.
That dude has
anyone
no
except.
Why? Yeah, let me go into, cause I want the audience to know, for you guys to articulate why he shouldn't run again.
I mean, he's already lost twice. You know, he has too much controversy around him at this point because of the whole Me Too thing. He just, you've already shown you can't win this race. I'm sorry, dude, but you can't win this race. You tried, you failed. All right, move on to the next one.
But it came out
in 30 years said, like, oh, I don't really care. I'm not debating you. Like she has never debated anybody. And if you put someone there, a young white woman that people could be like, oh, they could get around it. Maybe she has to debate. Or her daughter has to debate, whoever she puts in, right?
What's the ethnic breakdown of her district, give or take? Is it mostly white? Is it
San Francisco, right?
I think it's mostly. I think it is. Yeah, San Francisco. So I think it is mostly white, but we have to look that up. But I'm going to play the opposite side of you guys right now. And first of all, with Izzy, that apparently that Me Too issue that happened with Shahid was a fake issue. So I think people should be exonerated if, like, it turns out it's BS. They should be able to.
Like, it's over his head already. You know what I mean? Like he has that hanging over his head now. It's just it's never gonna go away. You know?
Yeah, I hear you, but
listen. I like the guy. I like the guy. I think but again, like, Nancy doesn't take him serious. You saw that at the minute that he I think with San Francisco, I think it was they need to get like 12% of the vote or something like that to have a challenge. He got 13%. And like in the minute that he was making some wave and he was making some noise, this story comes out. So like you can't and he did everything like right. Like he went through social media, he called her out and he did everything and stuff, but he lost twice. And then no day, I don't think there's no such like I don't believe in the third time is the charm. And I think you have to put somebody there that could be potentially maybe he could get behind and like he could support and bring that person up. But I think it's just like I said that we have to play identity politics because it is what it is, and we just gotta call it what it is.
Yeah, but I think with Pelosi it's a little different. You gotta have is somebody that could become very, very popular without identity politics, whatever. It has to be somebody that's very popular, because I think the main reason why Pelosi won and keeps winning is because she doesn't debate anybody. She's not forced to. There's no law saying you have to debate an opponent. So she could just get by on saying, whatever she wants to say and putting commercials out, and that's it. So unless it's somebody that could get very popular, that could hit her and all kinds of media to make her feel some kind of heat that she kind of feels compelled to want to debate, then it's not going to happen, whoever it is.
All right, I got the perfect candidate. So I was looking at the demographics. It's 40% white, 32% Asian, and then the rest is a breakdown of Spanish, Black,
interesting,
and others. So for me, the perfect candidate is mixed race. No, close. Mixed race, Chinese American, and white American woman would be the ideal candidate, and throw in veteran as well. So Chinese, because Chinese is the highest spoken language for non-English speakers at 17.1%.
Well, Chinese is not a language.
Mandarin, sorry, Chinese and Mandarin it says. Mandarin, actually it says Mandarin and Cantonese.
Who's that?
We gotta find one. I don't know.
I thought you had somebody in mind.
No, I was saying that I got the
I was waiting for the name. I was like, we're about to be like, we're gonna be our first, like, we're gonna endorse right here on the show.
Right on the show.
That was the pump fake.
Boom,
sorry.
we're getting ready to endorse in overtime.
All right.
I should have just stuck with Tulsi.
Yeah.
Man, you gotta go recruiting now. Gotta find somebody like that.
You have, but I said the thing, like progressive need to be able. The only way that, like, we always talk about this. Like we always say, like, oh, like America it's gonna be America. We still so far away from where we need to be, and if that's how we're gonna get our progressive in, and then to be able to change it, that's how we continue. We have to go in and learn the demographics and play the identity politics.
Yeah,
you can, if you have a 45% white, you can't put a African American candidate because most likely they're not going to win. You got to play identity politics to bring our policy and that's the only way we're going to win. If we go from 8 to 15, 16, 8 to 20 progressive in the House or a couple in the Senate, if 5 or 6 of them turn out to be fake, then we still got 15. But if we got 8 and then half of them, we don't even know where they stand, we really don't have no power.
I mean, right now, we're talking about like race as an identity, but we use everybody uses identity politics already. It's just not necessarily race. It could be just, everybody that's, like us is mostly people that identify as progressive, or it could be poor people. That could be the people you were trying to target. I mean, it's, I'm a dirty word, but it could be kind of pandering, and everybody does it in a way. The only difference is how genuine you are about the things that you're saying that you want to bring to those people. But everybody does it already.
Yeah, progressive, we got to have a winning mentality. Go ahead, Izzy.
I was just going to ask, so are we saying that the pandering and the identity politics is a good thing then, as long as they support our message? Because we're always here complaining about identity politics with Democrats.
No, we're not saying a thing. We just gotta say, in order for us to change the game, we gotta play the game, because we know that not playing the game is not getting us where we want.
And like that calzone topic is, should we lean into it?
And so now we're Okay, we should.
I think
we gotta remember that for next time when we have this conversation next time about that.
There's a difference between pandering and tokenization. Like if you're Hillary Clinton, 197 talking about the hot sauce in your bag, then that is pandering. Right. But if you're the young Latin, the young Black, the young Asian person out there talking about Medicare for all, that's not pandering. You just happen to be a person of color who has the right policy. So
that's why I'm saying it depends on how genuine you are about what you're saying.
If you're kneeling in kente cloth in the Congress and you don't really care and you're not making any changes for Black lives, that's pandering.
So for example, let's play out this case study. And the perfect example is for you, especially here in New York. So we complained at the beginning of the mayoral race that the progressive organizations, the Working Family Party, Our Revolution, if they have a presence in New York, or the progressives in the area, they didn't have a candidate. They didn't get around one candidate at the very beginning. So what if they had like 2 years before they said, okay, we got this mayoral race coming up. Let's look at our bench. Let's see who do we want. And you had like 3-4, white people. You had one Jewish person, and then you have a Black person. Like that's what I'm talking about, where we decide, okay, maybe for the mayoral race we should go with this demographic instead of this demographic. So, and look at what happened right now. Eric Adams, who used to be a Republican, but he's a Black, and he used to be the borough Brooklyn president, is now, and he was a cop, is now at the head of the pack. And he might be the next mayor.
I mean, Ray McGuire's in the race. He's Black too. He was supported by freaking Jay-Z and Puffy or Diddy or whatever his name is today. You know what I mean? And he's a nobody in the race.
Yeah, I don't even know who you're talking about right now.
Exactly. So look him up. Ray McGuire. He was a Black dude who was supported by the Black dudes of hip hop, which was born in this city, and he's a nobody in the race. So that.
Well, that's because the biggest identity is the size of your bank account.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. So, but that's what I'm talking about, Izzy, as far as playing identity politics. Like something that I hear come up every so often is like progressives and us on the left are more worried about being pure than winning, than strategizing and just winning and trying to get power.
That's the Morales campaign.
and I think that we got to be more strategic. That's all I'm saying.
I hear you. Yeah. I'm just taking notes for the next episode where we go back on all this.
No, it's not going back. Well, the question is, should we, right? Because obviously you see what we are. People saying, oh yeah, what we're doing is winning. Yeah, there's some races that you're winning, but how do we? You even talk about it, right? We climate change 2030. We may not even be here, and how do we get rid of Nancy Pelosi? Like, do we go in and bring, like she already talked about, she's going to try to bring her daughter in. Like, how do we know Shari Bittar is not going to be the answer. So how do we identify those candidates, right? And that's how I take it, to play that, to put a candidate that is going to talk to those, potentially is going to talk to that demographics and talk to that particular district, right? So that's what I mean by being able to finding those individuals to say, okay, well, we know this, that. Do we know that a Latino person could be Nancy Pelosi? We don't know, but do we take the chances? Like, we have to be able to do it, because we got to get rid of these people.
Yeah. It's like saying, like, if the Latino population in Pelosi's district is 7%, you're better off getting a Chinese person.
Yeah. All right. I think we hit this topic. If anyone has any pressing things to say, but let's hit the chat, and we're about to end the show. And then I want to do the case study QB tweet rapid fire. I'll see if we can do that real quick in 2 minutes, but let me do it now. And if anybody see anything in the chat, just shout it out right now if you want to. All right. Yeah.
Well, CMT's been talking about her experiences with schooling and her kids. Let's say now 8th grade son, they wanted 8th grade son to write a letter asking for forgiveness for forcing themselves on someone, even I guess because it was part of a federal grant. Like I guess we need a little bit more context, but it's like
that sounds like it would be a good TikTok thread.
Yeah, but it's like the school doing things just in order to get money from the government.
By the way, Chris, aka CMT63, she said at the very beginning of the show, she said she loves us. She said, "I love you guys," and I just want to show you love back. Chris, I really appreciate you, and we love you very much as well. And I hope you run. If you run, you know who got your back. So my quick rapid fire tweets. This is one real quick, and this one's dedicated to Izzy, our environmentalist on the panel. It said 2019 DNC denies climate debate. A DNC panel voted down a resolution calling for presidential primary debate focused on climate change. And then today, the Pacific Northwest heat wave picks Monday with temperatures 50 degrees above. Look at that map, yo. Oh my God. It looks like a volcano or something. All right. And then this is like maybe a no-call zone where Jackson Hinkle, you know, we have to have some AOC hate every so often. AOC didn't say a single word about the passing of American hero Mike Gravel, but when literal fascist John McCain met his demise, she went out of her way to shower him with praise. So I wanted to, you know, maybe we could, I don't know if you guys want to discuss this next week or not, but is this like picky, being too picky, or is this a legitimate, you know, brief? Right. All right, we'll keep it moving.
Too picky.
Too picky, man.
Okay, we'll keep it moving. This was an interesting tweet, and I shout out to Socialist MMA. And I never knew this even existed. So apparently the CIA has a blueprint of what to do when you're infiltrating organizations. So a couple of things is talk as frequently as possible and at great lengths. So maybe that's Felipe infiltrated us when he was part of it.
Did you not see Black Panther?
I know, right? Yo. And then bring up
Black Panther, Judas and the Black
Messiah.
Judas and the
Black Messiah.
But Black Panther, they said the same thing. He was like, that's how we taught how to take over nations. You go in, you kill whatever resources that they have. Like,
all right, here's the other stuff.
That's not what they're saying.
Yeah, here's the other stuff. I'm gonna ignore Bindo because I don't know what he's talking about. Here's the other ones. Bring up irrelevant issues as frequently as possible. Haggle over precise wording. Refer back to matters decided upon, and be worried about the propriety of any decision. This was a very interesting, and I might bring this back for a discussion.
They just described Felipe there.
or Jimmy Dore.
Now we have to. We might have to bring this back for no count zone.
That's paying him. Who's paying Jimmy?
I mean, just read what he said. How's on the screen, and then think about Jimmy Doors
this week.
We might have to bring this back for no count zone to have a hefty conversation. But anyway, this was a very interesting video, man. I really wish I could play this, but she went in on Bill Maher. So much love to Tiffany Cross, and then what else? I think that's it.
I think
we'll keep it moving.
I think it was alright.
You didn't think it was? She went in on him? No.
I think it was okay.
It's okay.
I'm almost tempted to.
I agree with Carlito. I don't think it was like
Gabe, Izzy, or Bidone. Did you watch it? Did you guys watch it?
Roland Martin had some people on it that went in.
Okay, so maybe show that to me. Maybe we could compare the two videos if we next week if we have a chance, or if you guys want to. Maybe nobody even cares about this. But I'm gonna end the show now. I think we're good. And
I'm done.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I'm ready for Heartlands tomorrow.
Heartlands, my people. E Hella. I don't know if E Hella is there still or Holly Horn. And
you know what? I'm gonna be offended right now.
What's up?
Why isn't the reveal on this show?
Because this is the I'm speechless. I don't know why I need to be revealed on this show for. This is my people. You already know.
We all seen your face in here.
Exactly. You guys seen my face, but I know for the chat, people in the chat, Alan, Neat, everybody else in the chat. If you want to see me tomorrow, much love, and I hope you come out because we're going. More importantly than my face is the People's Gauntlet. That's what we're going to be talking about. Heartlands Media. And we're going to talk about how we could build the infrastructure to change the world. We're going to save the world with the People's Gauntlet. Go ahead, Carlito.
What time you be there?
We're going to 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be on Heartlands Media. So look out for that. They start the show at 6 p.m. And then apparently I'm going to be jumping in at 6:30 for the rest of the show too. So I'm going to be talking about some new stuff that they bring up. So it's going to be fun.
You get to talk about your own clips for once.
I know, right? That should happen. That would be interesting. But yeah. Much love, and I hope to see everybody. Chris, I hope to see you there. You know, everybody else in the chat. Hope to see you. Something speaks louder than words. Can't think of
actions.
Action speaks louder than words. Sorry about that, actions. I was trying to think off the top of my head. Yeah, hope to see everybody there as we talk about the People's Gauntlet, and it's going to be very interesting. And I'm going to be championing that. Hopefully, you'll see me on other shows after Heartlands Media. I'm going to try to request to go on other people's channels to really
Breaking
promote
points.
it. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Wants to know what time it's being posted so he could watch it in 2x like the rapid fire.
Oh man! All right.
Shout out to Devotion Orange in the chat, and thank you again, CMT, for another super chat. We really appreciate
man,
it was a super chat.
Thank you so much. Yeah, let's give the chat some love on our way out. Who else we got over here?
Actions, Speak Louder Than the Words were on there. Alan Ambassador. Perdón is here. He says more in the chat than in the conversation.
Yeah.
Devotion Orange.
Neat. I can never reclaim my time.
All right. Well,
let's give a shout out to the people we haven't heard from in a bit. We haven't. Holly was on last week. We haven't seen her.
Nancy Vancher.
Nancy Vancher in a while.
Haven't seen Mia.
Like, share, subscribe.
Shout out to my
in the house.
Shout out to my friend from Paris, France.
Robert Wilson was in the house.
Yeah. And just to say this last tweet, not last tweet, but last message.
Wolf in the house.
Chris said, "Why are wealthy school districts hiring grant writers to get money? They are stealing from districts that don't have as much wealth." Yeah, Chris, it sounds like to me that it's time for you to run. Just between you and I. Us. All right, so much love to everybody. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. You got Carlito, Gabe, Izzy, Bidone, John. Thank you for spending this time. If you were here from the beginning to the end, then you are a political junkie right along with us. I'm gonna start calling people PJ Neat, PJ Chris, like how you say brother West or brother Gabe. I'm gonna say PJ Allen, PJ Chris, PJ Holly. That's how I'm gonna address my guys, our people. All right, y'all. Much love.
Toxic.
Like, subscribe.
Sterling W in the chat.
All right. I'm gonna show the last. I turned down the volume because I heard last week the music was too loud, so I turned down the volume on the ending.
Too loud, too short.
Too loud, too short. Boom. So thanks to our Patreon members, Pedro Hernandez and Nancy Vancher. Much love to y'all. All right. And stop streaming in 3, 2. Oh, Bendo, you want to say your peace sign again? Okay, everybody say bye one more time.
Adios.
Adios. Peace. See you next Monday, 8 p.m.